This debate for me started back in the 90s when I was on the school board. One night, our state assemblyman informed us he was coming into a board meeting with a group, a tax pact group, to discuss our situation in Seaford. We had the highest tax rate in Nassau County. So I prepared a little study for him. And when he came in, he was surprised to learn that Seaford had the lowest paid superintendent in Nassau County. The school district was in the lowest quadrant of pay in the Nassau County. Our per student spending was the lowest in Nassau County. Yet we had the highest tax rate. We had the highest tax rate because of the system we designed to pay for education. It didn't recognize the fact that there was no commercial property in Seaford. There still isn't. There's 2 candy stores and a milk box. There's no business there. We were a community that got no additional aid. We had no commercial tax base. While we had the lowest per student spending, we had the highest taxes. We built the system built on property taxes, residential property taxes. Comment was made that in the bill it makes reference to the new federal tax law. Of course it does. We pay for education by state and local taxes, just what the federal government put a cap on. We've got people on Long Island and across this state that their tax deduction for federal government is gone just on their school taxes before they've gone anyplace else. Right now, we're in a situation, the numbers I've seen, the cost of the new federal tax law in this state was about $15 billion in additional taxes. On Long Island, $2.3 billion. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money we could have put into education to help bring these schools down. But when you look at the studies, the spending rate from district to district is dramatically different. Sometimes, because of the makeup of the district, they may have a lot of special ed students. Sometimes, if you're in the right district and you have a lot of commercial property, you can spend all kinds of money. Senator LaValle remembers in the Shoreham-Wading River School District, because of Shoreham, they had all kinds of money to spend. They were spending a fortune. They were sending kids to Europe as part of school because they had all that revenue. There was no control. We don't control education and spending in this state. You look at the committee that we put together, 43 people. What a crazy number. What do you want all those people for? Because the way the thing was set up, it was involved everybody that takes part in education is in there, the teachers, the administrators, the whole 9 yards. Everybody comes to the table. And we've got to realize that we're at a break point now. We can't go on the way this is going. People can't afford these taxes anymore. You know, I had an opportunity before I came here. I was doing some risk management work and helping some of the counties in northern New York and western New York. And one day I was out playing golf with a teacher up in Montgomery County, St. Lawrence County, rather. And he said to me, you're from Long Island. Do you still have polo teams there for the schools? That was the image they had. No, we don't have polo teams. But you know what we have? We have food banks because people aren't rich. You've got people in my community that bought houses years ago, maybe paid $15,000 for them. They're retired, they're on limited incomes. But the house now is worth $800,000. You don't have the option to send a window to pay your taxes. You've got to kind of come up with the money. We've got to realize that this system is broken. We've got to realize it's not you did, we did, you did, we all did. We didn't do the job. The whole idea here is to put a committee together with everybody involved in education and look at the entire problem. The role of education is changing. The demographic profile of our school districts is dramatically changing, and it brings tremendous expense. We're not recognizing that. We're not providing the funding. Phil and I are dealing with a school district that basically is broke. And it's all because of the demographic change that went on. We've got to realize we've got a problem here and sit down and work at it together. And we've got to realize that the new federal tax laws absolutely compounded that problem. The people that were paying the highest property taxes are now paying taxes on their taxes, and it's not right. We've got to re-examine what we're doing in this state. There's a bill that I introduced, it's S-1707, look at it. It's a bridge to take care of these 3 years. It's a proposal that puts a cap on the maximum percentage of tax levy we can put on property as a percentage of their total spending. When you look at the numbers, and when years ago, first time I got the runs for every school district, and I broke down every single school district in the state with certain numbers, and I went to Chuck Fischillo with it. He said, God, you're dangerous with this, the information you had. You've got districts in this state that more than 70% of the cost of education is being paid by the homeowners in the form of taxes. And you've got districts in this state that 80% of the cost of education is being funded by state aid. You know, we look at the difference from tax from upstate to downstate. When the fellow I was playing, he said his taxes are much higher than mine. I said, what are your taxes? He says $2,500. I said, mine's $13,000. His comment was, yeah, I'm paying more than you are. I says, how does that work? He said, well, the percentage of taxes to the value of my house versus your house is much higher. Truth of the matter is, we've got to develop a system where we provide, using regional cost factors and expense controls, the funds that they need for every student in your district, take into consideration those with learning disabilities and people that are new to this country and the assistance they need. Give every school what they need for the required programs. Don't use property taxes. If you want to expand the program further, then you make property taxes then, and that's just for the district. But we have a real problem here. It's not a Republican problem. It's not a Democratic problem. It's a problem here. Yes, people will leave it here because they can't afford it. We need to sit down, put a group together, and work this out. I'm voting aye, Mr. President.